I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Tuesday evening that finds the Florida Gator basketball team currently in a battle against Vanderbilt. In fact, Gator basketball trailing by 1 at halftime. A little undermanned for the Gator basketball team tonight. Walter Clayton not playing. We will keep you updated, though. Again, halftime, Vandy 36, Florida 35. But obviously an overwhelming majority of our program tonight will be Jaguar-related, will be general manager search-related, will be Liam Cohen putting together his coaching staff related. A lot of Jaguar talk coming up here over the next couple of hours. Boy, the GM search is getting interesting, right? A lot of names out there, a lot of young guys. Look, I thought Ian Cunningham was kind of the guy when it came to the Jaguar fan base. That is the assistant GM in Chicago. He seemed like the most popular guy. But then all of a sudden, and again, I don't know a lot about this individual. I've certainly been reading up on him earlier on today. All of a sudden, a lot of Jaguar fans have seemed to flock to James Gladstone. No, not the guy from Full House. This is James Gladstone, the assistant general manager, I guess, or I guess he's the Rams director of scouting, the LA Rams director of scouting. And I'll stop right there. That in and of itself gives me reason for the Jaguars to want to talk to him. Because the Los Angeles Rams have drafted out of their minds in the last couple of years. So if you tell me, again, I don't know anything about James Gladstone, or at least I didn't up until a couple of hours ago. But if you tell me that's the director of scouting for the LA Rams, yeah, I want to talk to that guy based on some of the drafts the Rams have put together in recent memory. So he is kind of the new guy. They want to talk to a couple of new guys. San Francisco, one of their assistant GMs, is somebody the Jaguars are interested in talking to. The GM search has really heated up in the last really couple of hours, but certainly the last day or so. That should be the next big domino to fall. The quarterback coach was filled earlier today with Spencer Whipple from Arizona. He had a relationship with Liam Cohen from their days at UMass, so he's in at the quarterback coach position, which I find a little interesting. They hire a quarterback coach before they officially, keyword officially, hire an offensive coordinator. A little bit backwards there, a little bit untraditional there, but whatever. It's different. And like we've said for the last, 3-4 weeks, anything different that Jacksonville does is probably good. Because what they've done here, the status quo here, has not been acceptable for the last decade plus. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. Coming up in about, 15 minutes or so, my buddy E. Dilla, Eric Dillard. You know him as E. Dilla on social media. Dilla will stop by to give his thoughts on Liam Cohen, his thoughts on Tony Baselli as the EVP of football operations, where this GM search may ultimately wind up, where this offensive coordinator search may ultimately wind up. So E. Dilla joins us in about a little less than 15 minutes. Also, I guess officially my first draft guy of the year. We'll probably do 2 or 3 a week from this point forward. We do a lot of draft here on Hacker After Dark, particularly when the Jaguars have 10 picks, and particularly when the Jaguars have one of those picks inside the top 5. John Vogel, you can follow him on social media at Draft Vogel. He's covered the NFL draft for years. He is fresh back from the Senior Bowl. He spent the week in Mobile. We will talk to him about the Jaguars. We will talk to him about the top 5 prospects in the draft. And we will begin our draft talk, our marathon to the NFL draft coming up. John Vogel at Draft Vogel on social media joins me at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. As always, we'll kick it off on Hacker After Dark. We do give you a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right, so I want to talk to you, the Jaguar fan base, the hardworking, blue-collar men and women of Northeast Florida that have supported this team through the absolute nonsense and NFL darkness that has been a majority of the last 13 years. Well, there's a lot of excitement going on right now, though, right? A lot of excitement. Trent Baalke out, Press Taylor out, Doug Peterson out, Liam Cohen in, Tony Baselli in as the EVP of football operations. All the talk about who's going to be the next GM. They're talking to all the hot candidates, right? All the young up-and-coming guys. Those are the guys that you want them to talk to, and they're scheduling interviews with them. They are doing a good job. They, being the Jaguars, are doing a good job. And you know what? This could change come September when we're going to find out if they're going to win games or not. We won't find that out for 7 months. So this is where we are. This is what we have to go on. And because of what the Jaguars are doing and the good job I think they're doing, despite how they got there, they ultimately landed on Liam Cohen. They ultimately landed on Tony Baselli. I'm all in with Campanile, the defensive coordinator. I like that guy. The GM search looks like it's going to be pretty good. Looks like they're going to land somebody good there. Positive vibes, right? It's really the first positive vibes we've had in the offseason about this team. Boy, you got to go back a long way. Even 2022, the year that they won the playoff game against the Chargers and they went to Kansas City and lost in the divisional round, people were not happy about Doug Peterson being here. You remember that? I'm talking to you out there. Odds are you were not happy that Doug Peterson was here. A majority of people wanted Byron Leftwich or somebody else. They did not want Doug Peterson. So there wasn't even happiness going into the 22 offseason. And ultimately ends up making the playoffs, and that run was fun. That run was great. There was happiness then, but not leading up to it. 2023, yeah, I guess so, maybe, but Trent Baalke was still here, right? The clown movement was fresh in everybody's mind still. The loss to Kansas City, what could have been, was fresh in everybody's mind still. The Jaguars weren't very active in free agency in 2023. I think their big free agent splash, if memory serves, was Dearness Johnson, right? It was kind of hard to get fired up that offseason. 2024, this time last year, they're coming off losing 5 out of 6. An absolute collapse at the beginning of the year, or at the end of the year. So obviously you weren't fired up then. And if you want to go back prior, I guess people were excited about Urban Meyer, and I guess people were excited that you draft Trevor. Yeah, that's fair. You got to go back to 2021. There was excitement. But, boy, that got squashed really, really, really quick. Hopefully that doesn't happen here in 2025. But then 2020, 2019, just blah, just nothing. Nothing. And the point of this is, through all of the nonsense, right? Through all of the bad decisions that this organization has made, the bad hires this organization has made, just the utter, quite frankly, grossness that a lot of this last 13 years has been for you, the Jaguar fan, you guys never left, man. You guys were doing your thing at the stadium every Sunday. You guys were getting together at the slab and doing your thing at tailgating. You were going on road trips. You were supporting a team that was by far and away the worst organization in the NFL win-loss-wise over the last 13 years. This team has not given you back-to-back 10-win seasons in forever. I legitimately think you have to go back to 1998 and 1999 to find the last back-to-back double-digit win seasons. They haven't given you 9 or more wins except one time in the last 20 years. That was 2022 and 2023. They give you 3-14 and 1-15 and 4-12 and 5-11. That's what they give you and have given you over the last 13 years, an overwhelming majority of that time. But you never left, man. You were here. That's why I've always said the core 45, the core 50,000 of this fan base, I would put against any fan base in the NFL. Have Kansas City suck for 11 out of 13 years, and let's see how full Arrowhead is. Have Green Bay suck 11 out of 13 years, and let's see how full Lambeau is. Say that for any team in the league. It's easy to support a team that beats the crap out of their opponent. It's easy to support a team with a Hall of Fame quarterback that's been to 7 straight AFC championship games. To me, the dedication of a fan is when you're there through losing season after losing season after losing season and you still care. And you, the Jaguar fans, still care. So for the here and now in February of 2025, again, we don't know what's going to happen in September. We have no idea. I'm just going on what's happening right now. And right now, with the new head coach, the new staff, the GM search, and Tony Baselli is the EVP, there is genuine excitement in the month of February for this football team. And we haven't had that as a media or as a fan base in a long, long time. It's something to enjoy. Again, if they start out 0-4, the conversation will be vastly different in September. But we won't know that for 7 months. So we just need to enjoy the ride that is the NFL offseason. 641-1010 on the text line is on by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts always welcome here on a Tuesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Again, Eric Dillard, you know him as E. Dilla on social media. Dilla joins me in less than 10 minutes. Dylan Denmark, let me bring you in, sir. Hope you had a good birthday yesterday. Did you celebrate in a big way? Did you get wild and crazy on a Monday night?
Left here and went to sleep.
That sounds really exciting. You know, I always talk about myself as being the oldest 41-year-old on the planet. I think you're in the running for being the oldest 27-year-old on the planet.
I've been old since I was 17, 18.
You know, Matt Hayes, between our knockdown, drag-out arguments that we used to have when I was on middays. I don't know if you knew that, Denmark. I used to be in the midday.
Yes, I interned for that show.
Yes, on prime time. Boy, what a glorious show that was. Matt Hayes and I used to have some knockdown, drag-outs, and I still get this question. Man, did you and Matt really not like each other? Matt is genuinely like one of my best friends at the radio station. But he taught me something as well. When you get older, it's all about surviving and advancing, right? That's my motto. What are you going to do tomorrow? I'm going to survive and advance. I don't know what the day is going to bring. I got a pretty good feeling I'll be here tomorrow night doing Hacker After Dark, but during the day tomorrow, my goal is to survive and advance.
It's like JJ always says, his New Year's resolution is to stay alive.
Yeah, same
I
thing.
like that.
You survive and advance, and you move on to the next day. You survive and advance every 24 hours. But Denmark, the birthday boy from yesterday, again, happy belated 27th birthday. We are givers here on Hacker After Dark. It's what we do. We like to give back to the hardworking men and women here of Northeast Florida. And on a Tuesday night at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time, are you kidding me? We got something to give away for those people right here on Hacker After Dark. Denmark, what do we have?
Yes, tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. at the Florida Theater, Burton Cummings of the original The Guess Who, the 60th Anniversary Hits Tour. If you want a pair of tickets, hit me up at 641-1010. And, again, it's tomorrow at 7:30, so make sure you can go.
Keyword tomorrow. If you can go to the Florida Theater tomorrow and you want a pair of tickets, be caller number 4 right now at 641-1010, and Denmark will hook you up with a pair of those tickets tomorrow to the Florida Theater. Eric Dillard, E. Dilla, joins me next. Hacker After Dark. Tuesday night, Jacksonville, Florida. As always, we are glad you are with us.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Naturally, you've heard of me. Us.
They are the Trill.
Actually, we're twins.
Mornings
Well, if we ever make a show called Rejects, we'll know where to look.
on 1010XL.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Your new roof from Universal Roof and Contracting can help save a life. Percentage of every new roof this month will go to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. St. Jude's is leading the way. The world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer and other life-threatening diseases. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection. This promotion ends February 28th. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful. Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A broken pipe? That's no way to woo. This Valentine's Day, don't let plumbing or HVAC problems ruin the romance. Whether it's a leaky faucet, a backed-up septic tank, or a heater that's colder than your ex's heart, Duck Rooter is here to save the day. Our expert team will fix it fast and at a fair price, so you can get back to the love you deserve. When you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769, or online at duckduckrooter.com.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hayes' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
How many schools are there in the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, and the Pac-12?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 16 teams in the Big 12, 18 in the Big 10, 16 in the SEC, but only 2 teams remain in the Pac-12.
Yo, E.T. here, and don't let Valentine's Day sneak up on you. Plan the perfect romantic getaway in Clay County. Stay at one of Clay's beautiful Airbnbs or in luxury at Club Continental, a boutique riverfront retreat, and treat your special someone to an unforgettable dinner at the Hilltop Restaurant. Trust me on this one. Clay County is the perfect spot for romance. Start planning today at exploreclay.com and tag those romantic moments with #ExploreClay.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Matt and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Denny Thompson here. This is the last week to enter for a chance to win a $2,500 prize over at the new Tyson Sound & Security showroom. I'm talking a 75-inch loaded Samsung TV with 3D surround sound, a soundbar with wireless subwoofer, and installation is included. Stop by the new showroom, check out the setup, and drop your name in the box to enter for your chance to win. Giveaway ends Sunday, so go now to Tyson Sound & Security, 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Well, needless to say, there is a ton of Jacksonville Jaguar stuff going on. The defensive staff is getting situated. We got a brand new EVP of football operations. We got some offensive staff beginning to take shape with Liam Cohen. We have a lot to discuss. And with that, let me bring on my buddy E. Dilla, Eric Dillard. You know him as E. Dilla on social media. And Dilla's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Dilla, how are you, man?
I'm good, dude. Thanks for having me on again. Hope everything's going well. It's kind of exciting right now. Everything feels really cool.
You know, it's amazing. You and I spoke 2 weeks ago. It was right after Balky got fired, and the amount of stuff that has transpired since you and I talked on the air is absolutely wild. Let's begin right after Balky is fired. The whole Liam Cohen soap opera that appears to have unfolded between Jacksonville and Tampa. What did you make of all that, and what did you ultimately make of Cohen being announced as the head coach?
First and foremost, I think that was the first time in a long time I was proud to be a Jaguar fan. They kind of, they went the Liam Cohen route. Everyone thought that was going to be the guy, and then he said, know what? I'm going to go back to Tampa. I'm going to be the offensive coordinator. And then they fired Balky, and then Shad Khan and Ethan Waugh, and it hadn't been announced yet, but Tony Baselli was behind the scenes at this point. They said, no, we're going to go get our guy, and they did that. And for me, I think that was the first time where I really felt like, wow, we're doing what normal football teams do. So that was really exciting. For everything from that point on, I think is just like, mountaintop, like we're just going up. So it's really, really cool so far.
It's interesting. You and I were kind of on the same page, even 4 or 5 weeks ago, the first time we had you on. You and I were both kind of Liam Cohen guys. What did you like about him, even maybe over Ben Johnson?
So the first thing I liked about him was what they said, his personality. That was my biggest question mark with Ben Johnson, was can he be a leader of a whole team instead of just one side of the ball? And everything I'd heard about Liam Cohen was that he was that guy, and it really does appear he is that guy. We've had many opportunities to hear him talk since. But then if you look at his game, his scheme, what he did with Bucky Irving has me most excited. I'm almost certain that Trevor Lawrence is going to slice and dice in this new offense. But one thing we haven't been able to do in so long is run the football. And when you look at the Tampa Bay offense, they went from last, I believe, to 4th in the league running the football. Their offensive line, getting our guys out coaching-wise, I think is going to be an automatic upgrade just with anyone else who is coming in. But what he did with those guys, their run fits, the way they block, it's just really exciting to me. We haven't, when's the last time we just pounded the ball down a team's throat and took their will away? I think we're going to see that sometime. That's really got me excited about where the offense is going to end up.
Eric Dillard, you know him as E. Dilla on social media. He's with us here on Hacker After Dark. All right, if we go in chronological order, the next big piece of news to fall was the defensive coordinator. If you're going to hire an offensive head coach that's going to call plays, you need to get a guy that's reliable to run the defense. Interesting hire with Anthony Campanile. And look, from Green Bay, from all indications, Packer fans, Packer media were unhappy about losing him. He's given credit for both Cooper and Walker, the linebackers in Green Bay, kind of turning a corner in 2024. What was your thought on the defensive coordinator hire?
I love his juice. I think that the hiring brass really thought Patrick Graham was going to be the guy who ended up going back to the Raiders, I believe. But with Coach Camp, I'm going to call him Coach Camp, I think, from here on out. You really see with the snips, I know that they had a behind-the-scenes show, whichever one it was, the Dolphins at the time, the way he gets everyone's attention, his juice, that's the kind of stuff that Liam Cohen, it seems like everyone we're getting is rah-rah. They got the juice. It's something that we didn't see from Doug Peterson. But then when you look at his scheme, he's multiple. I don't know if they're going to run a 3-4. It sounds like they're going to stay with a 4-3, which I think is good for our personnel that we have intact now. And then you touched on it too. He's got those linebackers playing at next level. Maybe Devin Lloyd finally takes this step. He's running out of time. So I think with Devin Lloyd, you get maybe there's optimism around some of the guys on the team who haven't performed in the past. But then, like you said, with Coach Camp, he had offers. They said he was probably going to be offered the job in San Francisco had Robert Saleh not gone there. Penn State wanted him. When he left his previous jobs, their defenses got worse. That's everything I want to hear. I'm not going to be the guy who tells you this coach is going to be great, this GM is going to be great. I don't know, but what I do think is telling is the people who do know that stuff were, as you mentioned, pretty upset that he was heading out and heading to Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm out of the business of predicting defensive coordinators after the Ryan Nielsen fiasco last year. I'm not going to throw stones in a glass house, man. I was fired up about Nielsen, and that kind of blew up in all of our faces. But I like what I see from Coach Camp. And look, I mean, is there concern that he's never been a defensive coordinator and that with Liam Cohen being the play caller and the main guy on offense, that he's kind of going to be given the keys to the defense? I guess perhaps, but that goes back into the whole Ron Rivera conversation. I know he was in town to interview potentially for a spot on the staff. I mean, do you foresee them adding someone to the defensive staff that has either coordinator or even head coach experience?
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of hope an old head comes in just for the experience aspect, but kind of like what I said earlier, who knows what's going to happen with these coaches? I don't have a clue. You know what I mean? Like, looking into the future, I feel that everyone they've hired has this high energy, and you can see like what the vision is. And I think having a vision is really, as I talked about earlier, that's what's got me so excited about right now. I do think and do understand why people are, concerned about it. But if it works, it works. And sometimes the new guys work and sometimes the old heads don't work. Like we just mentioned, we were so excited about Ryan Nielsen and what he, what we thought he was bringing to Jacksonville after his stint in Atlanta. He was really good in New Orleans. He was good at NC State. And then he came to Jacksonville and he's running a hockey line defense. And it just doesn't make any sense. So, again, it's one of those things where I'm not going to read too much into it. As long as the vision continues to make sense, I'm going to be excited. But I would like to see an old head, and especially a successful old head like Ron Rivera, come in.
Eric Dillard, Dilla on social media with us here on Hacker After Dark. All right, Dilla, that gets us to the news yesterday. Tony Baselli, long rumored, finally announced as the EVP of football operations. I know it got a lot of traction on social media throughout the weeks with Tony Baselli. What was your thought? What do you think Jaguar fans' thoughts are on Baselli's new role?
I think seeing the clarity that Shad Khan presented about what Baselli is going to do really kind of like ended all my reservations. I think he's going to be the ear to the ground. He's going to let Shad Khan know what's up. And the best thing about Tony Baselli, I think my buddy Kat mentioned it on the timeline the other day, is he didn't need the job, but he wants the job, and he wants it because he cares. And when you get people in positions who don't need the position to be successful in life, but they want it because they care about the overall product and they care about the city, the franchise. I mean, he's got a gold jacket. There's no questioning what Tony Baselli means to Jacksonville and the Jaguars. I think it's the perfect role for him. He's not going to be involved in personnel, but he has been involved in hiring. Tony Baselli knows the ins and outs of the game. He knows the coaches. He knows what coaches know their stuff. We know Tony Baselli knows the offensive line. So when it comes to stuff like that, I think it's a home run hire. I think that it's important with the GM hire that they get a guy in here who is a personnel expert. I'm kind of reserved with the guy out of Tampa, Greenberg, because he's more of a, financial guy. But I saw that he's, linked into draft day trades and free agency. So end of the day, I don't think it's bad. But I think having Tony in town in an official role, not on the radio. And I think people get caught up in the entertainment aspect of Tony's previous roles with the Jaguars. I mean, he's not, I don't think he was always saying stuff that he actually believed, but you know what I mean? He was being an entertainer. So I think in role, he's a great guy to have in the position that he's in. He's essentially the Mark Lamping, just the guy who's there for Khan, but on the football side.
No, I like the point you made about Baselli. He didn't have to do it, doesn't have to do this, but wants to do this. He bleeds Jaguars. He's like Mr. Jaguar. That's a great point. You look at Chris Spielman type guy in Detroit, obviously Elway and what he did with Denver there for a while. All right, I guess the next big domino to fall is going to be the general manager. Now, the Jaguars, again, the transparency from Jacksonville in this has been absolutely superb. I mean, we got that list of 10 head coaching candidates, and they hired one of those guys. Now we've gotten a list of 5 GM candidates, and in fact, Baselli this morning on the drill mentioned Ethan Waugh is also going to get an interview, so that would add to the list to make number 6. What is your thought? I mean, Ian Cunningham of Chicago seems to be the fan favorite. Ethan Waugh, I guess, is in play now. What's your thought on the direction they might go at general manager?
I think it's Ian Cunningham's job to lose. I heard recently that Ian Cunningham and Liam Cohen are closer than just sharing an agent. But I reminded the people who told me that they said that it was Patrick Graham's job to lose as defensive coordinator, and it didn't go that way after interviews. I know that Ethan Waugh has the Trent Baalke stink on him, but I think since Baalke's left, you've seen how integral and important he is to the Jaguars organization. So I think he's a serious candidate. I don't think it's done as a favor, but I also don't think he's going to get the job. I know the guy from the Giants, I think he's my least favorite of them all. But what I think is cool about him and Ian Cunningham is they come from the Howie Roseman tree, and their success there. So I think what's really cool about everything the Jaguars have done, from head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and even GM, every name you see, you're like, okay, yeah, I understand why they're doing that, instead of why? Like, how does that guy have opportunity at this job? So I'm in there with the fan favorite of, I hope it's Ian Cunningham. But I'm excited to see where it goes. I think that, the GM that drafts this year, he'll have been in town for 2 months when the draft occurs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, heck, the combine's in 3 weeks.
Right. So a lot of it's still going to be Trent Baalke / Ethan Waugh scouts doing the work. So I think kind of the 2026 draft is when we'll start really being able to judge what the new GM brings. But again, like I said, I'm just excited about where the Jaguars are for the first time in a long time. It's not something I have to talk myself into, but it's just genuinely exciting. Every time Schefter, Rapsheet, Pellissiero, all the big dogs on the internet say something about the Jaguars, it's always exciting, and that's super cool.
Final moments with E. Dilla on social media. All right, Dilla, the offensive coordinator position, we'll see if that domino falls in the near future. I mean, the bottom line is Liam Cohen's the play caller, right? I mean, he's going to be the main guy, and he announced that as much at the press conference. So that means the OC won't have as much on his plate. The guy from L.A., again, they're not hiring Smiths and Thompsons here. They're hiring guys with really interesting last names. Is it Shieldhouse? Is that the guy from L.A. that might be the leader in the clubhouse here?
Yeah, I'm pronouncing it as Shieldhouse also. I know that the co-offensive coordinator from the Vikings had a strong run, but it sounded like, I think his name's Udinski.
The 28-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, real young, younger than me by 5 years, which is crazy. It sounds like he is the prime candidate to replace Kellen Moore in Philly. So it sounds like the Nate Shieldhouse guy is going to end up in Jackson. I think a lot of people, the only question mark you're seeing right now around the offensive coordinator is that they're hiring offensive position coaches, but they haven't hired the offensive coordinator yet. But from what I understand is it's been all behind the scenes, and the guy they've yet to announce has had his say and who they're keeping, who they're looking at. They announced Spencer Whipple this morning, coming from Arizona. He was out there with Christian Kirk. It was actually the name that they shared during their introductory handshake at Liam Cohen's presser. So, you look 1 week later, and now he's coaching in Jacksonville as the QB coach. I think that where you look, you see the cohesion, and that's kind of the theme of our little chat today, is everything seems to make sense, and I love that.
Dilla, final question. You speaking on behalf of the fans, obviously all the fans on social media. Boy, it was dark 2 weeks ago, right? I mean, people were pissed. And now you look at it, and it's like the clouds have parted. I mean, is the fan base happy with what's gone on?
Thrilled, man. And it's so funny you asked me that question, because I was thinking about it yesterday. there was the Myles Garrett put in a request to be traded. And of course, everyone wants Myles Garrett on their football team. So we start talking about, scenarios that'll never happen. But in the past, when that bickering goes back and forth, it turns into name calling and questioning how smart people are. And yesterday it was just kind of like, all right, yeah, I feel why you feel that way. And everyone's just got a positive, little aura about them. And it's super cool. It's exciting. I hope it lasts. I think with the offense, it's going to last. I kind of think that we've turned a new chapter in Jacksonville. It sure feels like it. Everything feels different. So I'm really pumped about it. Pumped to be on Hacker After Dark, and all I got to say is go Jags.
Eric Dillard, you know him as Dilla on social media. Dilla, you're the man. I know you're busy. Thank you for the time, brother. We'll talk again soon.
Appreciate you, big dog.
There you go, Dilla with us here on Hacker After Dark. Always enjoy the conversation with him. I think Dilla, not want to jump too far ahead, but I would guess that you'll be hearing more of him here on Hacker After Dark in the coming months, certainly leading up to the 2025 season. If I was a gambling man, Denmark, that's what I would say about that.
But you don't do that.
I don't do that. I'm just simply throwing it out there as a mere thought process, just brainstorming here. But I thought he had a really interesting perspective on a couple of things. Look, the offensive coordinator, Shieldhouse in L.A., that appears to be the direction it's going. But they did hire a quarterback coach today before the offensive coordinator, at least publicly, which is odd, I guess, right? I mean, am I looking at that? Am I reading too much into that, Denmark, that a quarterback coach is here before the offensive coordinator?
I would say yes if Liam Cohen wasn't calling plays.
Yeah.
Now that since he is calling plays, I don't make that too much of a deal. I think it's more of timing. We can hire this guy. I want to do this position. Let's hire him, kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll see. But so I would have to think the offensive coordinator spot is going to fall very quickly. If you notice, they're not talking about we completed an interview with this offensive coordinator candidate anymore. We haven't seen any of those in like 48 hours. So either they're doing them and not telling us, or they're done doing interviews and they know who they're going to hire. They just haven't announced it yet. The GM search is what's taking center focus. And again, there's about 7 guys that are in the conversation there. Again, Mike Greenberg in Tampa withdrew his name earlier tonight. To me, if you're an assistant GM and you pull your name out of the hat before you even take the interview, I would have to think that you probably knew it wasn't going to go your way and you wanted to save face. Maybe I'm being too Jaguar, blinder guy there, teal and black goggles, but that's bizarre to me that Greenberg would do that. But nevertheless, there's still a lot of great candidates, including a guy, Gladstone from L.A. Again, I knew nothing about James Gladstone 6 hours ago. But then I see the report the Jaguars are interested in interviewing him. His name picked up a lot of steam among Jaguar fans. And I see he's the director of scouting for the L.A. Rams. And just go look at the Rams' last 3, 4, 5 draft classes. That's good enough for me. I don't know a thing about this dude, but if he's the director of scouting for the Rams and the draft classes they've put together, you're darn right the Jaguars need to talk to that guy. And they're doing that with a guy in San Francisco as well. They're doing their due diligence, which is something I obviously like to see. We told you the Gator basketball team was trailing at the half. It was a 1-point Vanderbilt lead. Florida has come out and looked very good in the second half. They're playing without Walter Clayton, but they have built a 9-point lead. They've outscored the Commodores by 10 so far. They lead at 65-56, just under 7 minutes to go in the ball game. Florida looking to get to what would be 19-3 overall and 6-3 in the Southeastern Conference. They got a big road game against number 1 Auburn on Saturday, so you need to win tonight. And the Gators are up 9 with about 7 minutes to go. We will begin a little draft talk coming up here in less than 20 minutes. John Vogel at Draft Vogel on Twitter/X. He has one of the most comprehensive draft guides every single year. In fact, his draft guide is already out. You can download it, and you can watch in real time as he updates it basically hourly as we go through the process. He's fresh back from the Senior Bowl. He's got a lot of interesting perspectives on guys that he saw out there, so he will join us coming up here at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. With Dylan Denmark, the Hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. It is a Tuesday evening in Northeast Florida. And you got it right here on Hacker After Dark. It's 1010XL, and it's 92.5 FM.
Big moment. Play-by-play is full of plot twists.
Did that just happen?
And high-octane drama.
And this game is tied.
Experience the most play-by-play sports on 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here for the best weight loss program that I've ever been on. And the results speak for themselves. I got people watching on the stream tonight saying, Hacker, you're looking good. Hacker, look at all the weight you've lost. Guess what was not being said a year ago? Nice things about my weight. In fact, the exact opposite was being said. But I had kind of earned that, right? That's what happens when you balloon up to almost 320 pounds. I was in a bad way, man. I needed help. And I got that help with Awaken 180 weight loss. I've lost over 100 pounds on this program. You don't need any more proof than that. I can sit here and tell you how great they are, or you can simply look at a photo of me last February and a photo of me right now. That is Awaken 180 weight loss. If it's time for you to lose weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com. You could be their next success story. Awaken 180 weight loss.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter?
I don't know about this air conditioner, Jason.
You know, my job is actually to...
I mean, 1 minute it's working, and the next minute it's not working. Every time I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back to a nice, cool oasis or a steaming cesspool of sweaty garbage fumes and dog farts, and then I'll never get to sleep. And I'll be too late to call someone. And what if I've got a big meeting the next morning and I haven't slept a wink?
Okay, dude. Stay cool. Or at least stay cooler.
But
Bueller Air & Plumbing can figure out why your AC only works sometimes and not all the time. We fix that kind of stuff every day.
You mean you can...
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all your time worrying about an air conditioner that can totally be fixed, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators. And by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
If you'd like to try something different this year for Valentine's Day, you'll find great gift ideas from
Beard's Diamonds and Jacksonville Flower Market.
Find everything you need to know at 1010XL.com. Happy Valentine's Day from 1010XL.
Mia here. It's the Everything's on sale going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Get $0 down and just $288 per month for a pre-owned 2022 Toyota Corolla. Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for $0 down and only $388 per month. Or how about no payments till July 2025? And you get 60 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Shop the Everything's on sale at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295, and at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/save for more details.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
The
This is Hayes Carline here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish Revolution, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. No matter the weather, Triumph has an unbelievable selection of rides where you can get out and just enjoy the highway.
They do. The new Rocket is out with the new color schemes, the Tiger 1200, which has been revamped. These bikes are nice, gorgeous, and ready to ride.
And if you want to take a look at the selection, they can just roll into the showroom and see a full variety.
We've got them all in stock and ready to go.
So if you log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, search the Triumph line, and then head into the showroom, you'll be impressed. Cycles of Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
You know, I'm looking over this thing on ESPN.com, and I'm scrolling just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And the disrespect here is absolutely incredible. And again, I'm just going to read you the parameters of this. This is a 2024 NFL draft redo. Redrafting the first two rounds of the 2024 NFL class, 64 new picks from last year. Denmark, have you seen this?
Someone talked about it. I can't remember.
All right. So, Chicago, number 1 last year. Original pick, Caleb Williams, ESPN.com. This was the NFL Nation reporters that did this. They said the new pick, Jaden Daniels. Can't complain about that. Right on. Washington, original pick at number 2, Jaden Daniels. New pick, Caleb Williams. All right. New England remains with Drake May at number 3. Arizona remains with Marvin Harrison at number 4. More on that in a moment. Joe Alt remains number 5 to the Chargers. New York, the Giants. Original pick Malik Neighbors at 6. New pick Bo Nix. Bo Nix had a great year. Tennessee, original pick at 7 was J.C. Latham. New pick Malik Neighbors. All right, now here's the question I'm asking you, the city of Jacksonville. Notice I have not said Brian Thomas Jr. yet. Let's keep going. Number 8, Falcons. Original pick Michael Penix. In their redo, they take Michael Penix. Number 9, Chicago. Original pick Roma Duze. New pick Roma Duze. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. Roma Duze was not better than Brian Thomas Jr. Wasn't even close. Number 10, the New York Jets. Original pick J.J. McCarthy. Traded up. Minnesota took him in the trade. New pick Brock Bowers. Bowers had a good year. 11, Minnesota. Olu Fashanu, the offensive tackle from Penn State in the redo. Number 12, Denver. The new pick, Jared Verse. Good year. 13, Las Vegas. Their new pick, Ladd McConkey in the redo. Come on, man. And you keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and finally you get to 17, where Jacksonville originally was last year before they traded back. And that is finally where Brian Thomas Jr. goes in the redo draft. Denmark, I'm never one to be confused for a glass overflowing, optimistic Jacksonville Jaguar media member. Far from it a majority of the time. Just check out my social media timeline when the Jaguars are playing regular season games. But that's crap, right? I mean, there is no way if you redo the 2024 draft that you would take 16 guys over Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those national people that don't spend any time watching Jaguar games, only spend time watching the national games. So that he probably watched the first half or the first quarter of the Bills game and then probably moved on and never watched another Jaguar game. I mean, and he probably, if you had to ask him about his stats, he'd probably just say, it was probably had a lot to do with they were trailing a lot in games, and the game didn't have a lot of impact when he got a lot of those stats.
Brian Thomas Jr. was the 5th wide receiver to go in this redo draft, behind Marvin Harrison Jr., Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors, Ladd McConkey. Man. And Brock Bowers, I guess, if you want to throw him in there, he's a receiving tight end. Lack of respect for BTJ. And keep in mind, Brian Thomas Jr., 87 catches, 1,250 yards. What do you have, 10 touchdowns? And he did that with Mac Jones starting like 6 games this year. He also did that with no Christian Kirk, a lot of time no Evan Ingram, a lot of time no Gabe Davis. He was literally the only guy out there at wide receiver with Mac Jones throwing him the ball. And he did that. That is unbelievable. Andy Reid's unbelievable, going for another Super Bowl. This usually is the time of the week where we talk about, is Andy Reid going to call it a career if he wins on Sunday? Well, Andy Reid got out in front of that story this year. Says, doesn't matter what happens Sunday, I'm coming back in 2025. Andy Reid, with a win on Sunday, there's probably an argument that he's better than Belichick. There's an argument. Belichick would still have more rings. Belichick never three-peated. Andy Reid would have. This is Andy Reid's 5th Super Bowl in 6 years. Keep in mind, Andy Reid also went to 4 NFC championship games in a row with Philadelphia. Bill Belichick never did really anything of that sort outside of New England. Belichick's still the GOAT for now. Talk to me on Sunday night if Andy Reid is hoisting the Lombardi. And I guess you could say the same thing for Mahomes, right? I would still say Brady even with a Mahomes victory, but Brady never three-peated. Mahomes would have three-peated at that point. Probably adds to the Mahomes argument when you talk about the best quarterback that's ever lived. I think a Mahomes win puts him over Joe Montana, if he's not over Joe Montana already, for number 2 as far as the best quarterbacks that have ever walked planet Earth. A couple of quarterbacks available high in the draft this year for you Jaguar fans. You hope both of them go in the top 5, right? It would be awesome if Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders both win in the top 4 to push some guys down the board right into your lap at number 5. John Vogel is one of my draft guys, has been for years. He has an NFL draft big board, a draft guide that you can download. You can actually see him updating it every day in real time. He's fresh off a Senior Bowl visit. He was out in Mobile all week. Let's talk Jaguars. Let's talk draft class, and let's do it next. John Vogel joins me, Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Frank Franchi.
Questions? Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Frank Franchi.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Yeah, but he ought to have a real gig.
92.5 FM.
Next question.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
It all begins with Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health, February 12th through 16th. The Daytona 500 is sold out, but you can still win a 4-pack of tickets to all the other Speed Weeks races. What driver won the 2024 Daytona 500? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010. What driver won the 2024 Daytona 500? For a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Speed Weeks races, text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
The big game is almost here, and Sonny's Barbecue wants you to win a barbecue feast. Text Sonny's to the text line brought to you by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010 for your chance to win. 641-1010.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The NFL Alumni Charity Golf Tournament is February 21st at St. John's Golf and Country Club. To learn how you can play or volunteer, log on to NFLalumni.org.
The 5-Star Veterans Center of Jacksonville is the place homeless veterans can go to recover, recharge, retrain, and reconnect. Learn more at 5starveteranscenter.org.
Dreams Come True is a local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating at a local blood donation center.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Upgrade your home with the winning combination of style and performance from Renewal by Andersen. Energy efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. For a limited time, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires February 28th. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Transform your bathroom with stunning shower glass from Sky Glass Solutions in Jacksonville Beach. For a free quote, call 904-608-5151 or visit skyglasssolutions.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, we've been so caught up in the Jaguar coaching search and the search for a general manager and Tony Baselli being announced as the EVP of football operations that you look on the calendar and the East-West Shrine All-Star Game is done. The Senior Bowl is done, and we are 3 weeks away from the NFL Scouting Combine. Of course, the Jaguars pick in the top 5, and I believe they have 6 picks in the top 125 in April's draft. Let's begin focusing on that NFL draft, and with that, one of our guys, and he has been for years, is John Vogel, NFL draft analyst. He'll tell you all about the draft guide that he has coming out this year, and John's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. John, how we doing, man?
Great, man. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, John, we always appreciate it. You're fresh back from Mobile and the Senior Bowl down there. I've been to numerous Senior Bowls, always a good time with a lot of good information. What are some of the biggest things, your biggest takeaways coming out of the Senior Bowl this year?
I think the best thing about the Senior Bowl is, you never know who you're going to run into, and you never know what you're going to hear. But that being said, I think that there were a lot of guys that were able to stand out. I knew that coming into the week that a lot of the focus would be on the trenches. They were kind of loaded. If you looked at the roster of defensive linemen specifically, there were some pretty good offensive linemen, and so we knew that there were going to be some challenges for offenses to even really move the ball and even in practice against these groups. And that's what we got. I thought Walter Nolan did a great job. The defensive tackle out of Ole Miss,
sort of solidifying himself as a top 10 pick in my eyes. Shamar Turner out of Texas A&M had a really good couple days before he left Mobile. They said it was an injury, so hopefully everything's good there. But he is a guy at 290 pounds that you can put out at defensive end and send him. I think the first play I ever watched of him to study him, he was lined up as a 9 tech, which is very far on the outside. And he covered it at 290 pounds. So, it was guys like that, I think, that stood out. And then there were just a couple other players that we wanted to sort of see exceed at the next level. Guys like Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State, very high-level program, won another national title this year. He looked really good at guard. And Jackson Slater out of Sacramento State, one of my favorite guys of the class, had a really good week as well. I think both of those guys may have pushed themselves into day 2.
Yeah, I know Slater, I believe the Jaguars met with him, the young man out of Sacramento State. So we'll see what happens there. As far as the draft class, and we'll obviously, John, get more into the weeds in the coming weeks when we have you back on. But just in totality, when you look at the 2025 draft class from a mile-high view, deep, maybe not as deep, strongest positions, weakest positions, how would you assess that?
I think from a top like level standpoint, guys that we would put, consensus first round grades on, I don't think there's as many this year. But when you start to get into day 3, I think that's where the real meat of this draft is. There's a lot of guys that could be drafted because they have the talent level to sit and develop for a little while. So I think overall, it's a very deep class, and there's going to be a lot of high priority free agent players that can make impacts at the next level. But I think, from the top end standpoint, I don't think it's as deep as we've seen in recent years. Top positions, to me, I think this tight end class might be the best one I've ever seen. It's very deep, and when we talk about top end guys, there's a couple with Tyler Warren out of Penn State and Colston Loveland out of Michigan. But then you even start working down the lines and you start getting into Jake Brenningstool out of Clemson, Eli Stowers out of Vanderbilt, Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green. There's a lot of talent and a lot of different types of players, and that you'll see tight ends, I think, come off a little bit earlier than you're used to seeing, just because of not as much of the top end talent. And that's really where some of the top talent in this class is. Defensive end and defensive tackle, I think, is very deep. Running back is extremely deep again. How many times are we going to say that every year? And I think it's a pretty good corner class from top to bottom. When you start getting into the weaker points, this quarterback class has a lot of unknowns. So if you're needing a quarterback this year, which thankfully, hopefully Jacksonville is not, it's going to be a rough going for those teams. And then I think also the wide receiver class isn't as deep as it's been in normal years, but there's still going to be a few players that'll be very good, but it's not the level of class that we've grown accustomed to seeing. And lastly, I'd say that the offensive tackle class is quite disappointing. So if you're in need of a bookend left tackle, that might be a little bit harder to come by than it has been in recent memory.
NFL draft analyst John Vogel here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. All right, John, the Jaguars pick in the top 5. Let's focus on them. And you talk about the quarterbacks. Not that Jacksonville needs one, but Jacksonville is hoping that 1 or even 2 go in the top 4. How realistic is that either Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, both, or I guess neither, will be picked before the Jaguars pick at number 5?
I think this question is going to get answered in free agency, right? This is the biggest question in the draft, is where the quarterbacks go, because this free agent market is not very promising from top to bottom. We've got Sam Darnold potentially up for grabs, Justin Fields potentially up for grabs, and then you start getting into the very low-level starters, the guys that really should be backups that get those starting opportunities. I think Gardner Minshew is supposed to be a free agent this year. Mac Jones, I know, is supposed to be a free agent, and then I think you've got even one more in his name, Daniel Jones. Okay, so not a great class to kind of answer your quarterback question from in free agency, especially if a couple of those guys re-sign as they're expected to. So now you get into desperate teams do desperate things in desperate situations, which is exactly what several of these teams that'll be picking up at the top are looking at. The New York Giants, for example, are one of these teams that are expected to take a quarterback. I understand they really like Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado, and they need a quarterback because this is basically that entire regime's, the front office, this coaching staff, that's everybody's jobs on the line this year. And so they really need a quarterback. They're a little bit more than a quarterback away, but that would certainly help some of their problems if they can build something consistently off of that. So there's a chance that the Giants could do it. And then we start to look at the Titans and the Browns. It doesn't look like they're going to necessarily go quarterback in this class, but the Titans have made it very clear that they're open for trade. So does that potentially move somebody up the board, to pay the king's ransom and get the quarterback and hope to build around it? That feels like if you were to move up for somebody, you'd be moving up for Cam Ward to jump a couple teams that might be in front of you and could potentially make that pick. So I would say at this current moment, it's 50-50. And just because there's no real answers in free agency, and that's going to put the onus on the draft in this class. And that Cam Ward can make big plays. That Shedeur Sanders is what we call a high floor guy, a guy that doesn't necessarily have a whole lot to develop to become a capable NFL player. But overall, it really just depends on how free agency shakes and what kind of blockbuster trade type deals we're going to see go down in the league.
Couple more for John Vogel, NFL draft analyst with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. John, these early mock drafts, a majority of them have one of two Michigan guys coming to Jacksonville, either Mason Graham or Will Johnson. Do you agree with that? And do you agree that both guys should be available at number 5?
Yeah, I think both of them will be. And again, it depends who gets pushed down the board due to people trying to make those moves up. But, when you look at Mason Graham, he kind of reminds me of a defensive tackle type of, if you move Joey Bosa inside and gave him, had him put on another 60 pounds. That's who Mason Graham is. He's very intense, doesn't necessarily have the length that, you really like to see on tape, but he makes up for it with everything else that he brings to his skill set, his hand-to-hand fighting technique, his gap shooting ability. He can two-gap as well. So he's a very versatile guy that you can kind of put anywhere on the interior of your defensive line.
And Will Johnson, the same thing. Now, the thing with Will Johnson, I guess, is the injury situation there, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some talk that medical might be a little bit more serious than it was originally believed to be. And if that's the case, well, now we're not talking about him necessarily being a top 5 pick. So his combine and the medicals that he gets done there in Indianapolis will be crucial.
I've heard all over the board with McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona. Some guys I've had on really like him. Some guys I've had on think he's, quite frankly, overrated. Where do you stand on McMillan?
I like him, and I think he can be a Mike Evans type player in the NFL. And I'm not saying he's going to have 13 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start his career, but what I'm saying is Mike Evans creates those mismatches and is just athletic enough to create separation through his breaks, and you see that same sort of ability with T-Mac. So I like him. I think that he's probably the top receiver in this class, and that's stacked against guys like Luther Burden. But he's a guy that I think probably could go there at 5, and I think with Brian Thomas that was drafted last year by Jacksonville, I don't think that that's necessarily the pick that they go with. I don't know which one you would move to the 2, which one you would want over the top in the number 1 spot. I might like somebody that can complement Brian Thomas a little bit better.
When you look at the top 4, again, Jacksonville picks 5. The hope is that 2 quarterbacks go. We'll see what happens there. The thought is Abdul Carter will be gone in the top 4 and probably Travis Hunter. Is that the way that you see it?
Yeah, I think so. Abdul Carter is my number 2 overall player on my big board right now. He's a Micah Parsons type player. He's got that same versatility, similar skill style and the way that he plays the game. So, yeah, I think that he probably comes off the board. He's the top edge rusher in this class. I don't think there's really anyone there to dispute him. And then as for Travis Hunter, yeah, you're getting a generational type player with the ability that he brings, not just to the corner position, but what he can do in his package on offense. And if you wanted to get him involved in special teams, he can do that too. Yeah, I don't think people understand how crazy it is that the dude averaged 118 career snaps or 118 snaps a game last year. That's absolutely mind-numbing, especially when you think about, we're trying to build defensive line rotation so that we can keep guys from playing over 40 snaps a game. He's playing 3 times that. And he's not going to play both ways, 100% like he did at Colorado, but you're going to get a very explosive weapon that you can bring in certain packages to your offense. And that's very valuable for a 53-man roster.
John, final question. And John Vogel, NFL draft analyst, here with us. We'll tell you all about John's draft guide coming up here in just a moment. The Jaguars, say what you will about Trent Baalke. The one thing that he did do really well last year is he traded back for Brian Thomas Jr., and he got an extra 3rd and a 4th, which is amazing now when you look back at it in retrospect. So the Jaguars do have, I believe, 6 picks in the top 125. You mentioned this class is deep. I think the Jaguars have 10 picks overall. This is a good year to have 10 picks, correct, with a deep class like this?
Yeah, it gives you versatility. So, trade ammo with moving up or moving down. It gives you a lot of versatility with what you can do to target the specific players that you're trying to acquire. I think that you can get 4 or 5 very good role players in those top, 6 picks that you're talking about in the top 125 guys that are going to be able to contribute and play some sort of role immediately this year, whether that's, on offense or on defense or even on special teams. So I think that while, maybe you don't want to be necessarily picking top, 15 this year in between that, 7 to 15 range, just because that's where you start to feel like you're reaching. But I think that it's a really good class when you get down into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th rounds, and that's perfect for the Jaguars.
And to that point, quickly, 7 to 15 you think is reaching, but you think number 5 you'll be able to get an impact player?
Yeah, especially if the 2 quarterbacks push them down the board, right? And that's what you're hoping for, because both of those quarterbacks, neither one of those quarterbacks are going to end up in my top 15, I don't think, by the end of the year. Overall type players, but pushes, teams to do desperate things. And that's what I think is going to help Jacksonville is the absolute requirement it is to have a good quarterback and the willingness of teams to make those risks, to get a good quarterback that can come in there and play. That's what's going to really help push Jacksonville a really good player to them.
John, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about the draft guide that you have coming out.
Yeah, so the draft guide, it is out. It comes out usually right around the start of June. It's live all year, so you can literally watch me put my updates in if you really wanted to in real time. But it's a OneNote document that you can get access to on the link is on my Twitter @DraftVogel. Probably the most in-depth thing that you're going to see on the market, with NFL team breakdowns, NFL team big boards for all 32 different teams, as well as school breakdowns and very in-depth, very notey, NFL draft scouting reports for over 1,500 players.
Whew. I tell people this every year. The guy's Twitter handle is @DraftVogel. All right, that's all you need to know about John Vogel. He eats, sleeps, and breathes the draft. You can go check out @DraftVogel and get all the information on that draft guide. John, we're off and running, man. Appreciate you joining us. We'll hopefully do it again in a couple of weeks, and I hope to have you on periodically heading into late April's NFL draft. Thank you as always, pal.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan.
1010XL.
The quality and standard of your life will not be determined by how well you play football, but by how well you confront adversity. Attitude.
Where attitude is altitude.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hi, I'm Kelly Franklin, Chief Executive Officer of the Betty Griffin Center. Thanks to the players for supporting our mission to help survivors of domestic and sexual violence rebuild their lives and find peace at home. It's 35 days into the players.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful.
Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
The Florida Forum Speaker Series welcomes novelist and journalist Carl Hyacin February 12th. For your chance to win tickets, text FORUM to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
Ackerman Urology offers the most advanced options for improving men's health and vitality. Their board-certified urologists treat all prostate disease and sexual health issues. Call their new location at World Golf Village or visit AckermanUrology.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Hammond, Valentine's Day is coming up. Got any romantic plans?
Dad, I'm married to Clean Air. My plan is to help Jacksonville families breathe easier.
You're helpless, but Clean Air does sound nice. Can duct cleaning really help?
Absolutely. Dust, allergens, even odors can build up in your ducts. Cleaning them now makes your air fresher and healthier for your family. The EPA says better indoor air quality can reduce health risk.
So cleaning ducts are like Valentine's Day gift for the house.
Exactly. Forget chocolates. Fresh air lasts longer and doesn't melt. Plus, we've got a February special, $100 off your total.
All right, sign me up. Maybe fresh air will make Mom fall in love with me again all over.
You'll have to take her to dinner for that, but cleaner air will definitely help.
Fair enough. Jacksonville, if you're ready to show your home some love, Google Zerorez and read over 7,000 five-star reviews. Zerorez.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zerorez.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
Where on your body is the weenus? The answer next.
When you call Southern Oak and file a claim, you'll be handled by our hand-picked vendors who will analyze any roof, storm, or water damage. It'll save money for you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The weenus is your elbow skin and can be pinched as hard as you want, and it will never cause pain.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
It's time to get up and go to the Jacksonville RV Mega Show, Thursday through Sunday, February 6th through 9th at the Jacksonville Equestrian Center. It's Northeast Florida's largest RV show with hundreds of RVs on display, lifestyle booths, plus win $250 gift cards every day. Adults $10, kids under 12 free. Seniors get half off on Thursday. Military and first responders half off every day. Thursday through Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 9 to 4. The Jacksonville RV Mega Show.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. After Dark on 1010XL.
20 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. We do like to remind you about this at least once or twice a week, certainly. The MyBookie digital platform. You enjoy listening to the show. We enjoy you listening to the show. But you can stream the show. You can watch us live on all the 1010XL social media platforms, Twitter/X, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. Hacker After Dark, every show on 1010XL streams there all day, every day for your viewing pleasure. So give us a watch, give us a listen, the MyBookie digital platform. This is not a political statement. So don't say, oh, Hacker's getting political, because if there's one thing you know about me is I don't get political. You guys come here to talk sports, and that's what we do. There are other places if you want political outlets. To me, this is an outlet to get away from politics.
Don't do something stupid.
Exactly. Thank you, Coach. But this is wild to me, and I would have never guessed this in a million years. So Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is going to attend the Super Bowl on Sunday in New Orleans. And when he does that, he will be the first sitting president to ever attend a Super Bowl. Denmark, that's wild, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking of most presidents go to the Army-Navy game.
And most presidents do the pregame show interview during the Super Bowl, which Trump is going to do that as well. But no sitting president has ever actually been in the stadium at the game. And Trump is going to be the first. I can't imagine it's 2025. This is Super Bowl 59. And he's going to be the first president that's ever attended the game live.
Yeah, I'm thinking I know Trump went to the Daytona 500, a college football national title. I don't know of any other college football national titles that presidents have been to. I think, did Bill Clinton, I know when Arkansas made their run, did he go to all of their big games in the tournament?
I was a pretty young guy back then, but if memory serves, he might have. The 40 Minutes of Hell team with Nolan Richardson.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of others.
Well, Obama used to do bracketology on ESPN. Yeah. If he does bracketology, you would have thought at some point, or Barackatology is what they called it, you would have thought at some point he would have attended a Super Bowl.
Yeah, George Bush threw out the first pitch after 9/11.
After 9/11, right. Yeah. There's a lot of presidents that have done sporting events, certainly. And when I saw that article on Pro Football Talk, I gave it a double look. I'm like, are you kidding? But no, apparently it's true. Trump's going to be the first sitting president that ever is going to attend a Super Bowl when he shows up in New Orleans coming up on Sunday. Jamal St. of Channel 4 joins us in less than 10 minutes as we'll continue the Jaguar conversation, the Liam Cohen conversation here on Hacker After Dark. I do want to tell you, Florida basketball did finish off the win tonight over Vanderbilt. Denmark, a much-needed win for the Gators. They got back-to-back road games coming up against two ranked teams, at Auburn, at Mississippi State, coming off just getting trounced by Tennessee. They needed this one tonight. Walter Clayton Jr. did not play, so it was going to be difficult. And they were trailing at halftime. But give Todd Golden, the Gators, credit. They came out in the second half, did what they needed to do, and are now 19-3 on the year, 6-3 in the conference, with a big home win over a good Vandy team. That Vandy team came in 16-5 and gave Florida a good battle, but ultimately the Gators get it done.
Yeah, that was the game you couldn't afford to lose. It's kind of weird to say that being early February, especially where Florida stands. But, they've lost the last couple of games in the SEC. You play Auburn on Saturday, and I've just came to grips that every game in the SEC is going to be tough, regardless of who you play, where you play, when you play. It's going to be a dogfight. You've seen Florida. You've seen Kentucky. I think they just lost to Ole Miss. Kentucky was on the road.
There are some people that'll tell you winning the SEC tournament.
Yeah, Jay Billis said this.
Might be harder. It was a Billis. Yeah, might be harder than winning the NCAA tournament this year.
You got to beat 3 top 10 teams to win it all.
I think Joe Lenardi in bracketology, was it last week, had 11 SEC teams in the field right now. 11. SEC teams in
of
the
the
field.
16. Yeah, I believe it.
Crazy. By the way, Florida State also with a victory tonight. The Seminoles beat Notre Dame. We didn't mention this week yet. Leonard Hamilton is going to call it a career at Florida State. 23 years on the job with Florida State. He's going to call it a career after the season. Florida State gets it done tonight, 67-60 over Notre Dame. The Seminoles now 14-9 on the year. And after Leonard Hamilton leaves, that'll kind of be the end of an era, right? For a while there, you had Bobby Bowden on football, Mike Martin baseball, and Leonard Hamilton basketball. And may they rest in peace, both Bobby and Mike. And Leonard Hamilton was the third one in that trifecta. And now he'll be the last one to go, right? Last one to step aside from his current job. 23 years as the Seminole basketball coach. And he will be done following the Seminole season here in 2025. Back into the NFL, back into the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's talk the coaching staff. Let's talk the GM search, everything that's transpired with your Jacksonville Jaguars. And we might mix in a little Super Bowl as well. Jamal St. of Channel 4 joins me next on a Tuesday night in Northeast Florida with Dylan Denmark, the Hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us right here on Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
We could have picked any city, but we like it here.
That's all that matters to me.
1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. This Sunday's the big game. Look, don't blame me. This would be much easier if I could say this has finally come. Parties, football, libations, food, all the festivities we welcome every February. The question is, what if you're trying to lose weight but still enjoy watching this with friends? The answer? Nothing. As I've told you before, Awaken 180 is built for real-life scenarios. The reason Awaken 180 is now in their 9th year and growing nationally, the program works. Eat wings and meatballs while watching the Super Bowl. Have a beverage while betting on the Super Bowl. Live your life while enjoying the Super Bowl. I think you get the point. Whether you're in the weight loss phase or in free lifelong maintenance, Awaken 180 won't get in the way of enjoying the big game. Reserve your consultation today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Love is in the air this February, but nothing kills the mood like a plumbing or HVAC problem. Whether it's a leaky pipe, a backed up septic tank, or your heater isn't keeping things cozy, don't worry. We've got you covered. Call Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Our expert team is here to keep your home running smooth, no matter the issue. When you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769, or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Dave Benyon with Zero Res. As the temps outside are warming up, so is Zero Res. Right now, it's the hottest price of the year. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $147, and the 4th room is free. That's right, the 4th room is on me. Google Zero Res and see what people are saying. Zero Res has over 6,000 5-star reviews. Remember, February is the hottest price of the year for Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $147, and the 4th room is free. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Mia here. You want to know what I'm so over? Resolutions. You want to know what I am into? The Revolution, hitting the road in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. So what do you say? Join the Arlington Toyota Revolution and save big with financing as low as 0% on select new models. Or get up to $8,500 off select new Toyotas. Plus, every new Toyota purchase from Arlington Toyota comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty and 60-day exchange. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter-mile east of 295, or at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/0% for full details.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, an amazing amount of stuff can transpire in a very short amount of time. You think back just 2 weeks ago, the last time we had Jamal St. of Channel 4 here on Hacker After Dark. Trent Baalke was still the general manager. Liam Cohen had not said no to the Jaguars, and he also had not said yes to the Jaguars. And the Jaguars still weren't really sure what was going on with the head coaching search. And just 2 short weeks later, we at least have some clarity now, although it was a wild ride to get here. With that, Jamal St. of Channel 4. Jamal, who would have thought 2 weeks all this could transpire in such a short amount of time?
I know, right, Hacker? It's been a busy kind of off season so far. No rest for the Jaguars, and shucks, they still got a lot of work to do.
They do, and filling out the staff, and some of that staff is beginning to come together. But let's start back. Again, 2 weeks ago, Trent Baalke was still the GM, and the craziness hasn't ensued yet. What changed, Jamal, from our last conversation 2 weeks ago to where we are now? Why is Trent Baalke gone, and why is Liam Cohen now the head coach of the Jaguars?
Liam was the target. He was the guy. I think when we talked, I even said it was Ben Johnson or Liam Cohen. I mean, that I think that's where they were. That's what they wanted. That was kind of always the focus. Shad made it pretty clear, he wanted innovative. What he called it, in that they were predictable during his postseason kind of press conference. And young, the players wanted a young head coach. He was going to pair another offensive coach with Trevor to try and get the most out of their guy. So it came down to those two guys. They were the two offensive minds. They were the two that they really liked during that first round of interviews, Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen, and in no particular order. And then Ben Johnson went off the market on Monday morning, the second he could basically be offered the job. So the Jaguars had to do something. And that also gave Liam Cohen's camp a little bit more leverage. So, I mean, it was clear throughout the process that one of the hangups for these folks was Trent. And Shad had said before that if Trent was part of the problem, he was willing to move on and change. And to his credit, he did what he had to do and got the job done.
Well, and my thing, too, and look, not to rehash this, but since you and I haven't talked since, how did Shad not know that? I mean, I think everybody, right, knew that Trent Baalke was going to potentially be an issue in this whole process. I guess everybody except the owner, and I guess he had to find out on the fly, but I'm just not sure why it took so long.
It's like being in a relationship and somebody telling you that your partner's toxic, but that person's not going to believe it until they're ready to see it themselves. And then they're mad at their friend for telling them the truth in the moment. That's the exact same thing. Everybody's telling Shad that Trent's not the right guy for this. I don't want to work with him, but Trent's his guy. So he's like, you're crazy. You can't tell me what to do. At some point, he finally just kind of came to the realization of, everybody was telling me the truth. And, when you do, you course correct and ended up going on ahead to get this guy.
Well, Liam Cohen is the guy. Let's talk about him first. I mean, again, Jamal St. of Channel 4. All right, we know what he did with Baker Mayfield last year. There's a lot of questions. Only 1 year as a play caller, and we'll get to that. But on the surface, you said Jacksonville went out and got their guy. I agree with you. What do you think Liam Cohen brings to the Jaguar organization?
The biggest thing that I would say for Liam Cohen is that he's going to be a really good leader. I mean, he comes from a coaching family. I mean, this is what he's always wanted to do. I think I talked to him after his press conference, and he said he can remember as far back as like maybe somewhere around 9, 10, 11 years old, wanting to be wanting to be a football coach because that's what his dad was. And he knew that then. This is something that he's always wanted to do. So this is something that he's always been thinking about, not something he kind of fell into. I talked to Baker Mayfield down at the Pro Bowl over the weekend, and the first thing Baker rattles off is, man, look, Liam Cohen taught the entire offense how to do this thing. He taught them the ins and outs. He understands how to install this stuff and make everything very understandable. He said that Liam Cohen helped simplify his reads and stuff at the line for him. And Baker even said it. He said he was excited for Trevor Lawrence to have the chance to work with Liam Cohen because of what he thought it would do for Trevor. I mean, that's coming from the guy who, everybody's basically saying, Baker should be mad because all the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans are upset because Liam spurned them and left. Now, Baker kind of understood. He said he was upset that Coach Cohen left the way he did, but he understood the opportunity for Cohen and his family, and he knows being a head coach doesn't knock on the door all the time. And he said he was excited for Trevor to have the opportunity to work with a coach like Coach Cohen. We talked to Mike Evans, too, and he said the same thing. He said he thought that Coach Cohen was a great young coach. He enjoyed the year working with him, and he thought that he'd do good things in Jacksonville. So, I mean, those are pretty good cosigns from his guys in Tampa who have no reason to say anything nice about him at this point.
Yeah, and you, with your coverage of the Pro Bowl, and you piqued my interest there. I mean, that's a nothing burger from the Buccaneer fans and, quite frankly, Buccaneer media, which I can't believe some of our colleagues in Tampa, some of the stuff they've said, not only the podcast guys, but some well-respected guys down there about the whole Liam Cohen thing. I mean, you talk to Buccaneer players who should be more upset about this than anybody, and yet from what you're saying, it didn't seem like it was that big of a deal the way he left.
No, it's Baker kind of joked about it at one point, said that he thought that he said he left Liam on red a little bit, wanted to let him sweat before he responded to him just for the how things went down. But he said he responded to him. He said he understood how it went down, and he understood the decision for Coach Cohen and his family. I mean, and that's from Baker Mayfield. I mean, he got good cosigns. I only got a chance to catch up with Baker and Mike Evans there. I couldn't track down Tristan Wirfs, but Baker and Mike both said that they enjoyed working with Coach Cohen. They were looking forward to see what he could do in Jacksonville. Both of them gave him good cosigns as being a teacher for what he was able to do to install the offense. I mean, they were completely, not a side eye. Baker answered multiple questions about him. Like I said, the closest thing that you could get from a slight was Baker said, yeah, I left him on red for a little while to make sure that he sweated out just to, but that's the kind of relationship they had. And when Baker Mayfield was first asked about Liam Cohen interviewing for the job in Jacksonville, he said, well, we'll have to play around at TPC to see if he can actually take the interview or not. Right? So he gets it. They get it. They had a decent relationship. Baker gave it a good cosign and said that he thinks it's going to be good for Trevor Lawrence because it was good for him. So I think that's about as good as a cosign as you're going to get from a former player.
Couple of more for Jamal St. of Channel 4. We mentioned this earlier. 1 year as a play caller in Tampa. Now, he was a coordinator with the Rams in 2022, but, of course, didn't call the plays. Sean McVay did. This is a lot to put on a 39-year-old's plate, right? I mean, he's building out a staff. He's going to be involved, or he is currently involved, I guess, in the search for a general manager. What is your thought about Cohen having this much responsibility with not a ton of experience in the league?
It's definitely a lot to put on his shoulders. We'll see how he continues to fill out his staff. Definitely want to see him add some been there, done that to the room for sure. But to some extent, I also like what they're doing, where they're kind of moving the needle forward instead of getting those guys that we've seen as, the guys that you can get typically aren't you don't typically get the guys that are top of the heap. Those guys are hard to come by. Generally, they have jobs or are connected. So get that next wave, get that up and coming group, those coaches that are moving through the ranks. So, and that's what he's trying to put together in this staff right now. The GM hire obviously is going to be key to all of this because that's part of that brain trust. But I mean, the biggest thing for Liam Cohen is going to be year 2. What does he do in the second year of an offense? NFL defensive coordinators are smart and they have nothing but time, and they will spend once they figure out your tendencies in that first year, by the end of the season, they kind of got you figured out. They spend the whole off season with your offense. They will dissect it down and figure out everything you want to do when you do it and know how you think. And they have the analytics guys and the staff, and everybody's figured it out. Your keys, if there's anything to give it away, they'll find it. So what is he going to do after they break down the tape and figure out all of his little tendencies and stuff from watching a full year of his offense in Jacksonville? What's he doing year 2? Because he's never had to adjust like that. That's my biggest question mark with Liam Cohen, just because it's something he's never done. Not as an NFL coordinator, not as a college coordinator. So at least not as an SEC coordinator. He did it early in his college career. So that's probably the biggest thing, is because he's bounced around. He's never had to deal with that year 2. That, oh, okay, now that you know what I want to do. Okay, well now how are you going to adjust? So that's probably what I'm looking forward to seeing. So year 1 should be good though. So I'm a big believer in that first year kind of coach juice. Nobody really knows what you want to do. Generally, you can catch some folks by surprise and get it rolling.
Oh, that's a good point. We'll see what he does. Yeah, he's been, I think, 5 different places in 5 years. So, like he said at his press conference, maybe they can finally plant some boots on the ground, he and his family here in Jacksonville. Jamal St. of Channel 4, as we begin to wrap up. All right, the defensive staff starting to take shape. Your thoughts on what Cohen has done on that side of the coaching staff to this point?
We're going to see. Honestly, we're going to see. Campanelli is an interesting hire. Never been an NFL defensive coordinator before. I mean, so I think we're all going to learn a little bit about what he wants to do on the defense when we finally get a chance to catch up with him. I got to chat with one of his former guys out over at the Pro Bowl, Rashawn Gary, and Gary said him and Campanelli go way back because when he was going through the college ranks, he said Coach Camp was trying to recruit him to Rutgers. So he said that what we saw from the clips of Hard Knocks is only a taste of what Coach Camp is like in the meeting rooms, and that is 100% real and 100% authentic in him every day. So that was not just for show. But he also said that he loved playing for Coach Camp. He was the type of coach that, he wanted to play for, coaches or players love to play for, and that it holds guys responsible. He said, he goes and sits down with guys and talks, and he says, if you go and tell him that, you want to be this or want to do this, he said he's the kind of coach that's going to hold you responsible every day and push you to be in the book or be on that tape or whatever to try and push to be where you want to be. So it sounds like he's a good kind of coach that players like. which I think is a good step. So we'll see from there. I mean, if you can start with a coach that guys want to play for on defense, all right, that's a good start. Outside of that, I got no idea because he's never been a defensive coordinator before. I mean, I can go and say, okay, well, he's coached in these schemes, but that doesn't mean that's what he wants to do or how he'll call it. So I think we'll see. I think that we got to put a peg in that one, Hacker, because we just honestly, I don't know what he wants to do.
Well, the only thing that I'll say, and again, this may mean something, it might mean nothing, who knows, but Green Bay fans, even Green Bay media, are not happy that he's leaving, which to me is always kind of a good sign. I mean, I don't think if Ryan Nielsen were to leave, Press Taylor leaving, the Jaguar fans were not all that upset about that. So Campanelli leaving Green Bay, I think he's given credit for Edgerrin Cooper up there and Quay Walker and some of the things those linebackers did, which to me, again, it's what we can go on, and it's a good sign. Jamal, finally, I mean, the Senior Bowl is in the rearview mirror. The East-West Shrine Bowl is in the rearview mirror. They are on the field doing drills for the scouting combine in 24 days, and the Jaguars do not have currently a general manager in place. I mean, that's got to happen soon, correct?
Yeah, I would think it's in the next couple of weeks. I would think that should get done pretty here soon. It wouldn't surprise me if it was sometime before the end of this week, Hacker. To be honest with you, yeah. Look, I think during the press conference, people kind of made something of nothing when Shad was asked to give a date, and he said, "Oh, here's the whatever prospective NFL deadline or whatever he threw out there." Look, he knows he doesn't want to wait till the deadline to do it. It's just a matter of trying to get the right person in there for the job, and then still got to hammer out the details and probably get them out of their contract with wherever they're at. And the Jaguars also have it's a different power structure. I mean, most general manager jobs around the league are the GM is the head guy. I mean, he's the guy calling the shots, where the Jaguars kind of want to run it a little different, where the head coach is kind of the central figure who everybody else kind of works around. So a little bit of a different setup. So that means they kind of got to look at things a little bit differently. And I think that means some GM candidates are going to be looking at this job a little bit differently. And it also means they have to go about getting it hired differently too. So I think all of that plays into it a little bit. So I don't think it'll take much longer though. They know they have to get a guy in place. I mean, that also is probably part of the reason why you got Ethan Waugh and those guys in there holding it down.
And we're less than 6 weeks away from free agency, so it's going to get here pretty quick. Jamal, 60 seconds. Leave us with this. There is a Super Bowl that's going to be played on Sunday, right? We haven't spent a lot of time talking about that here in Jacksonville. Who do you like, the Eagles or the Chiefs on Sunday?
Man, Hacker, look, if you go against Patrick Mahomes, that's never smart money. The Chiefs do this. I think the Chiefs win it again. I wish this matchup was different and not just another redo between Philly and Kansas City, but give me Mahomes and Andy Reid.
I agree. I think Philadelphia is probably the better team, the better roster, but there's just no way I'm going to pick against Patrick Mahomes. Jamal St. of Channel 4. Jamal, I know you're busy, man. Thank you as always for the time. We'll talk again in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Hacker. Anytime, man.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jacks cool since '87.
And thank you to Jamal St. of Channel 4 for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. As again, a ton going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. News basically coming in every day. Obviously, Liam Cohen, the brand new head coach, he is putting together a staff of very young people, right? I mean, a lot of first-year people in their new positions. Defensive coordinator, Coach Camp, as we're calling him, I guess, Anthony Campanile. He is in his first year as the DC. We know Spencer Whipple has been added as the quarterback coach earlier today. A lot of the defensive staff coming together. Tony Baselli was announced as the first-year executive vice president of football operations. Liam Cohen, a first-year head coach. So a lot of newness, a lot of change, but I think change that the fan base is certainly excited about. Something needed to change, right, from the way things have gone here in Jacksonville for the last 12 or 13 years. And we're getting a significant amount of change, and more will come as more coaches will be hired, a GM will be put in place. And again, hard to believe we're already almost a week into February, and the scouting combine up in Indianapolis is just 3 weeks away. Well, that will just about do it. It has been a very, very busy Tuesday night edition here of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Jamal St here of Channel 4. Always appreciate Jamal stopping by to spend time talking Jags with us here on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to John Vogel, NFL draft analyst, fresh off the Senior Bowl festivities in Mobile. Always enjoy talking NFL draft with John. We'll get him on periodically as we get closer to late April and the NFL draft. Of course, the Jaguars pick 5th overall, and I believe have 6 selections in the top 125 picks. So one would think they should be able to get some pretty good players with those top 6 picks in the draft, and we certainly appreciate John Vogel. You can follow him on social media at Draft Vogel, and that's where you can also find information about his draft guide that's already available to you here in 2025. And back in hour number 1, Eric Dillard. We call him E. Dilla. You know him as E. Dilla on social media. Always appreciate Dilla stopping by to give us his perspective on everything going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, we will be back tomorrow night. We're in for Baloo tomorrow, so we're a little earlier, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock tomorrow. Hacker After Dark in for Baloo tomorrow night beginning at 6 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Tuesday evening, and we will do it all over again tomorrow evening on a Wednesday beginning at 6 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
The NBA is on 1010XL.
Paulo Banchero and the Orlando Magic look to dethrone the